सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। कटाक्षकिरणाचान्त नमन्मोहाब्धये नमः। अनन्तानन्दकृष्णाय जगन्मङ्गलमूर्तये। श्लोका नंबर 20, पेज नंबर 63। चैत्योपरागरूपा मे साक्षितापि न तात्विकी उपलक्षणमेवेयम् निस्तरङ्गचिदम्बुधेः। In the 18th shloka, we were told dirgha swapne sphurantyete. Just like in the dream we project an alternate reality, similarly in the waking world we project jrumbhite jaganmaye. And in the 19th shloka they said भित्ति भागे समे चित्रे चराचर विभागवत. Just like on the canvas or on the screen we project or depict sentiency and insentient. That is how we interpret it. Supposing there is a painting and the painting depicts Rani Lakshmi Bai with a child tied to her back, a sword in the hand, and the horse galloping and jumping off a big boulder, and behind her there are these British soldiers, some running, some on the horse, some lying down holding their rifle, and from the rifle there is that spark coming out which is red to yellow to white. And when you see that entire painting, it is still, there is absolutely no movement there. You know, when we were children, we used to get these books, some Coca-Cola or 7-Up, or they used to sell these. If you give these many caps, so you can flip the pages and you will see the movement. There is nothing like that on this painting, that you can flip it to see the movement. But yet, our understanding, seeing that particular painting, is of a very valiant, vigorous movement. That there is a Jada boulder, the horse, the great Rani, with the little child jumping over it, and the bullets are flying all over the place. They are trying to catch up with. All of this, it creates a vivid picture, vivid imagination. That when we see that beautiful colors, patterns that are being laid out, what do we view? In our head, there is that horse galloping, jumping. That is the painter's beauty. That when the horse is jumping forward, in anticipation of that jump, Lakshmi Bai is in the front, hunching towards the head of the horse. But the child seems to be flinging towards the back. Details. That detail creates that vividness in our understanding. In that how the shadows are displayed, how the movement is displayed. And in our visualization, there is a galloping, Rani, and we imagine the scene. But in fact, there is nothing but just a still painting. But our imagination takes off from there. That there is Jada and Chetana. There is something which has movement, there is something which has life in it, there is something which is, happening there. Irrespective of what is happening, there are things that are totally not bothered about it. Jada. Similarly, this Atma Chaitanya and its projection, we see Chetana, Achetana. So with these two shlokas, what has been emphatically laid out is the projected reality and how we take it as a factuality and get caught up in it. Therefore, that which we see is not something which is the actuality. Therefore, it is not real. When I say it is not real, don't immediately conclude that you are not seeing, you are not tasting, you are not smelling, you are not touching. When I say it is not real, we have to understand that it is only an appearance which we are concluding as real. Appearance is there. दिखता है पर है नहीं. So in another work of Adi Shankaracharya ji, he calls it as the Aindrajalaka. Aindrajala is the magician. That he is trying to show something, it is appearing, and we are wowed at it, but then it is make-believe, but it is not real. When we say it is not real, I think we get caught up in the word real. I think you will be more caught up if I say nariyal. That which is not real. That it is appearing. There is an experience. But then whether to allow it to be impacting us or not, that freedom is there in the I, the conscious being. So the mithyatvam is established. Mithyatvam in Viveka Chudamani and other places, very beautifully he says, what is Maya? Yama sa Maya. That which appears to be. That which is not, which appears to be. That which is, appears not. Both aspects. I was trying to explain this to 8th, 9th grade. What is Maya? Very difficult. So, at that moment do you see horns on my head? So the mischievous kids. Everybody in unison said, they all looked at each other and then looked at me and I said, yes. I said, that is called Maya. That which is not, but you assume it to be, that is Maya. So the mithyatvam is established with those two shlokas. Now moving forward, that which he has established between the 9th shloka to the 19th shloka, he is going to disturb that also. How so? He says, Chaitya uparagarūpā me sākṣitāpi na tāttvikī. We said the Chaitanya Tattva is the Sakshi. With very difficult processing, we came to the standpoint, chalo maan lete, that yes, witnesshood is the very nature of this conscious principle. It is not trying to witness, it is happening in front of it, it is watching it. वहाँ तक पहुँच गए थे हम, बड़ी मुश्किल से पहुँच तो गए थे. But then here he is completely uprooting that entire concept. Because he wants to take us to the highest level without any ambiguity. If not understood in sequence, all that it will leave us in is nothing but pure uncorrupted ambiguity. So he says, sākṣitāpi na tāttvikī. That sākṣita, the witnesshood, or sākṣita actually means the witnesshoodness. Like we say, Hindutva. Hindutva meaning the Hinduness. Lemon, the sourness. Similarly, Sakshita, the witnesshoodness. Na tāttvikī. It is not absolute. It is not the ultimate. And we are like, kya? And how can you keep changing your standpoint? You only proved. I said, yes, I did prove. But in that which I proved earlier, I am giving another layer of subtlety. What is that layer of subtlety? He says, Chaitya uparagarūpā me uparagarūpā. Raga, liking. Or liking is, wanting, liking. Upa, getting closer to that. That association with that which I am interacting with, which I raga, that also is rising in my mind, that movement is happening, and with respect to that movement, I end up saying that I am a witness of that. So there is something that is being witnessed and I am the witness. So this witnesshood is a relative state. Not the absolute state. So we may end up concluding that it is a tatastha lakshana. So therefore we may, tatastha means in association with something. Remember I said, that house, where is your house? So he said, that where there is a crow. Very good, you remembered tatastha lakshana. Now what if there is no crow? So we may conclude that anywhere that crow lands is your house. Because the lakshana has changed, right? Then it will not be the right pointer, it will almost sound like a waqf board. Meaning with some kind of lakshana they will say, this is my property now. So easy, right, to claim. What if there is no movement? There is no witnesshood. See, we call that Shuddha Brahma Tattva as Satchidananda Swarupa. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. It is consciousness when I am from my particular state where I am intertwined with Jadatva to establish the uniqueness and the separateness. I am pointing towards that Shuddhatva as Chaitanya. When I am talking from the standpoint of things that can exist, things that can perish, I am talking from that standpoint as it is Shuddha Sattva Rupa or Satrupa. Satrupa meaning existential. With reference to what? That which I am constantly intertwined with, that it seems to exist, it seems to perish, it gets replaced. From that standpoint, I said, no, it is non-changing, it is always existing. Similarly, here, the witnesshoodness is only with reference to if there is something to witness. There is a cricket match happening. There are two teams, batting team, fielding team. The batting team, there are 2 players. Fielding team, there are 11 players. And there is a jagat of all the viewers. Now it has expanded through the various commercial medias. It is projected onto our living room. The various views. Jagat has expanded. Right. It is in this scenario that you require a umpire. Match is done, the Jagat is withdrawn. That person exists, but cannot be referred to as umpire. Umpire is only when you are in that particular field with reference to that field, you are called umpire. When the reference itself is not there, you just are. Am I getting across? So the witness is existing, or witness is being talked about only from the standpoint of that which is being witnessed. Because if these reference points were not given, we probably would not have understood anything about that Shuddha Brahma Tattva. See, that is the beauty of teacher, right? That we understand where the student is, get down to the student level and talk to that student from the understanding of that student, so that that understanding can be elevated. Where are we? In the movement as the movement. Not in the moment, in the movement. So with reference to that, what should the pointer be? You are the witness of the movement. Movement happens because that is the nature of Prakriti, that it changes. And what are you? You are the one that is observing the change, but you are the changeless, immutable Tattva. You are the eternal Tattva, Nityatva. So if it is not Satchidananda, if it is not Sakshitva, what exactly is it? So in the Dakshinamurti Stotra, yes, Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshishtante Vasadrishiganaihi Avritam Brahmanishthaihi. What is the Vyakhya? Gurudev translates Mauna Vyakhya as the eloquent speech of silence. There is pure, undisturbed silence. That silence, which is not the Shanti, which is of the dichotomy of Shanti and Ashanti. They call it Prashanti. That which is unshakable, far above the polarities, the dualities. There is nothing that the mind can visualize to explain it in words. You cannot put it into thought. The intellect cannot grasp it as a concept. What a difficult task. That which cannot be spoken, that which cannot be imagined, that which cannot be conceptualized. And then there are those that say, they talk of this Brahman, it is all imaginary. Imagination happens at the state of mind. This is not something that you can imagine. See, when we get to this idea, the next step, there is such a Shanti that develops. It is not the realm of something that the intellect can conceptualize. Where is our struggle? Consistently. They make different kinds of payasam. There is one which is called kheer, where rice and milk. Then there is semia. All this is fine. but they make it challenging when they do sabudana paisa. पकड़ भी नहीं आता. You try scooping it out in the spoon, it slips. It is like almost eating mutton with a fork. And you try the twing. We try to, the entire effort is, yes, I kind of caught it. If you think you caught it, you know it not. Nona vedeti vedacha. Kenopanishad. If you think that you have caught it, you know it not. And we struggle day in and day out. How can I put the effort to comprehensively grasp it? Because we function in the outside world confidently only when I think I have a grasp at it. Therefore, confidence is directly related to that understanding and the grasp of it. I know that I know. Those who come onto the stage and they are given a mic, you see obviously that the mic is also shaking. The hand is trembling. The voice is also trembling. Why? They don't know that if they will remember what they have scripted. They don't know if that can be worded out properly, executed properly. They don't know if the audience will understand. They don't know if they will appreciate it. So many layers of don't know. No confidence. The buddhi has already passed the no confidence motion. Therefore trembling. So our way of functionality, our way of working modus has always been that even stupidity, even foolishness is when we think, I got it. Because we are functioning from that level of grasp that the intellect can say, yes. But this is something that cannot even be conceptualized. Therefore, the Shruti Vakya, the Pramana has always been to point at that which it is not, that which I am enmeshed in. So once all these layers are taken out, what is left behind is your Swanubhuti, Swayam Prakasha. Even Prakasha is from the standpoint of our ignorance. It's always a referral point. He says this Shuddha Brahma Chaitanya has no referral points. See, if we form a committee, go to the Surya Loka and tell that sun, you remove our darkness with your piercing rays of light and heat, you provide us the warmth. Bechara Surya Narayana will be left confused. He said, wait a second. What do you mean by darkness? Darkness is our referral point. From his standpoint, he has never seen darkness. We are saying heat and light. Again, darkness is our reference, coldness is our reference. There is no such referral point for him. For the first time, our committee going there, our group of people here, we take a shawl, we take a mala, and doing all this is okay. But what is darkness? What is sun? When the rays, light rays, what is heat? For him, it is not like the rays are separating out from him, therefore there is sun's light. When he says sun's light, he says, no, it is not sun's light, it is me. Darkness, I don't know the concept. How would you explain darkness to that poor fellow? He has never experienced it. There is never a point where there can be darkness. We explain it in our polarity because that is our experience. That is where we are enmeshed in. So here he is saying, chaitya upalakṣaṇameveyaṃ में sākṣitāpi na tāttvikī. Therefore, it cannot be from the highest standpoint of tattva vichara. It is only a referral point. Therefore, it is a relative standpoint. Relative because it is related to that which is being witnessed. Upalakṣaṇameveyaṃ. Eva yam, this sākṣitā, the witnesshoodness, is upalakṣaṇa, not the pradhana lakṣana. It is the secondary explanation, one step below. It's not the main lakṣana, it is the upalakṣaṇa. Just like, if you can imagine, nistaraṅgacidambudheḥ. Ambu means water. From the standpoint of the water, there is no wave, there is no ripple, there is no bubble, there is no froth or foam, there is no droplets. Maybe the referral point to the ocean. Whether it is in the ocean, whether it is in the wave, whether it is in the ripple, whether it is in whatever format. For our convenience, we have put these different names for different shapes of that very H2O. Ambu means water. That water has been given different names because of different forms. Just because we have named all these names and recognized the forms, the water says, I have never ceased to be water. Whether in wave, whether in ripple, whether in froth and foam, whether it is in ripple, I still am water only. So it can be only a referral point. That which you see, that also is confusing. In Kenopanishad, there is an example that Adi Shankaracharya ji gives in the Bhashya. What is wind? You see the tree, You see the leaves and branches moving. That because of which the tree, branches, leaves and everything moves. That is called wind. That is called Vayu. Each one has their own understanding. One says the moving tree is wind. The other says, no, it is the leaves when they are moving, that moving leaves is called the wind. After 4 or 5 such options, there is one fellow is looking very confused. He says, I don't know how to describe it. Probably what you are pointing at is that because of which all this movement is happening. That is wind. Similarly here when he says that nistaraṅgacidambudheḥ. Have you ever done sea diving or snorkeling? Snorkeling is you put a little mask on your face, tightly gripping. There is air here within that mask that you wear. It covers your mouth, nose, eyes and the forehead, and it seals tightly. And that is connected to a pipe, and the pipe is above the sea level. So when you dive in, I told you, right, my first experience was in that island, Saint Martin, where you could find about close to 16-17 shades of blue. I shared that experience. स्वामी जी स्नॉर्कलिंग करेंगे. भैया मेरे को पानी अच्छा लगता है पर डर लगता है. I said, no, Swamiji, you beat that fear by diving into it. I said, that which I have heard, what logic is that? So they forced me, very scarily I got in. All the waves are on the surface. All the movement is only on the surface. Down under, there is no movement. You have to acclimatize yourself because there is a sudden air pressure that you feel. Once you acclimatize, there is such a shanti. All the roaring sound of the waves and the ocean and the truck and the traffic and the horn, nothing. Oh, this is how Shanti looks like. No sound whatsoever. And then you see the corals, you see those tiny little different patterned fish, schools of fish. Different things. You as soon as you come out, you see the waves hitting you. As soon as you're in there, for somebody who has always lived in there, you tell them there are waves, there are ripples. Sometimes these waves get to such a level they call it tsunami. That fellow would probably say, "Chal hat jhute." Not possible. Because there is nothing here. There is absolutely nothing here. For that standpoint alone, it can be called as Shuddha Brahma. From the standpoint of water. Rest all is a point of reference only. Nistaraṅgacidambudheḥ. So what is the sadhana here to understand? What do we have to do the nididhyasana about. That is the crux of it. We intellectually try to affirm everything as my known field. Vedanta is unsettling because you cannot nail it down. Nail down what? Nail down the fact that it is something that can be conceptualized. There is that, in Hindi they call it becheni. There is that restlessness. I have been coming, attending, listening to one scripture after the other, one prakarana grantha after the other, and yet I am not that dumb. Why am I not understanding this? It has got nothing to do with that intellect which feels dumb or superior that now it understands. Therefore, the sadhana is to be consciously alert that if and when I see myself settling down, ab samjha, I've grasped it, we are still entrapped at the level of our intellect. The ego does not like to be feeling dumb through the intellect. However dumb that person may be, we would like to project ourselves as all-knowing. So Vedanta baffles that intellect. Why? तेरे पल्ले नहीं पड़ेगा. And we sit there across and we say, try me. There is nothing that which I cannot understand. What, this is rocket science or what? Is that not, that is the English way of saying it. Telugu way of saying it is, anything else is easy. Anything else is easy from the standpoint that it can be grasped. Therefore we say, it is easy. How do we put it in colloquially? Idana Brahma Vidya. Anything else other than Brahma Vidya can be grasped. So what do we have to watch if we have to not get trapped? The moment when I sit down and say, yes, I got it, let me note it down. Khatam. We have not grasped it. So how do we face this very peculiar situation? Again, it has to be a referral point, I say, for the intellect to settle down. That which I am trying to see. Have you ever seen your eye with your own eye? Yes, Swamiji, I stand in front of the mirror. That is a reflection. Have you seen your eye with your eye? That which is trying to grasp, failing to grasp, I also am aware that I have grasped or not grasped. That which is shining that concept of grasping and not grasping, That is my true nature. Whether there is grasp or not, it witnesses itself. It illumines itself. It exists as existence. Therefore, in Kenopanishad, they say, Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti, Kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha. This is the first mantra. So, to answer to that student in that same language, he says, Vachoha vacham manaso manoyat. That it is the mind of the mind, speech of the speech, the sight of the seeing. It happens because of it, but it is not it. In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, I am in them, they are in me, but I am not in them. Totally confused. They are not in me because they exist not. They seem to appear, and they appear because of me. Therefore, I am in them. But they cannot be in me because they exist not. What they are trying to say, the grasp and the non-grasp, the understanding and the non-understanding, the lack of it. There is something which is aware of it. Even before it is aware of the understanding or the lack of it, by its very nature, it is aware of itself. Deepaha swayam prakashavat. Before it illumines anything else, it illumines its presence. I'll have to end up saying, the day we understand this, understand what? That the intellect is incapacitated to make a concept out of Brahma Chaitanya. The intellect stops. And when that intellect stops, you are absorbed in your true nature. Vyavaharically, the simple experience that I have, I cannot put it in words. You go back home. People at home ask, आज क्या सुनाया तुम्हारे स्वामी ने? And you have to explain these concepts. You try 3, 4, 5 sentences. You will see their face getting knotted step by step. And then you conclude, it was so good, you should have been there. Or you have had some good sweet, rasmalai or gulab jamun, Mysore pak, laddu. There's a good Mysore pak. How is it? Hard, rough. It is the holiest of the sweets. Why? Through and through there are holes. जो दूसरा बनाते हैं, that which is like a mass of besan, that is not original Mysore pak. It has to have the aerated holes in it. Rough, hard, somehow crack it. Put it in your mouth. As soon as your saliva touches it, it starts spreading around because it melts. All the roughness gone, all the harshness gone. And somebody asks, "Kaisa hai?" के बगैर you can't go proceed further. Don't we say, "So good that I am not able to describe it." And finally we say, do you know what this is? It's called Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra. We use it for good. If this is good, what is this? Too good. 1, 2. We give Chin Mudra as an expression. But what does it mean? Avachyam. Cannot explain even this physical simple experience of a good sweet being tasted, cherished. How is that cherishing nature? Cannot put it in words. And this, that which you have already experienced and conceptualized. This is something which you have already conceptualized. Your buddhi has already grasped it. Even that which you have grasped, you are incapacitated to put it in words. Like in Tulsidas ji's Hanuman Chalisa says, "Kabi ko vid kahi sake kahan te." मैं टेस्टर कही सके कहाँ थे. When Bhagavan Ramji, gives himself to Hanumanji and hugs him, he says that beautiful, experience of Bhagavan offering himself to Hanumanji and saying, "I have nothing else to give but myself to you," and hugs. Then how can you expect me to put that in words? When a physical experience, that which you have grasped, seen, experienced, conceptualized, that itself is a difficulty to put in words. That which cannot be conceptualized is not for a poet to put it in words, is not for a pravakta to speak on it. Because what is being pointed at can be only summed up in one word: silence. But just to make a referral point again, that in Dirgha Nidra also there is silence. This silence is awareful silence. Just to create that distinction. That state of being absorbed in my own nature, in the core of my own being, as silence, is called samadhi. Effortlessly when it happens, there is a whole logic of it. There is a whole book or books written on trying to understand Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I am just trying to put it in the most simplistic way. With effort, when we go into that absorbed state of awareful silence, it is called Savikalpa Samadhi. Effortlessly we are in that state abiding, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Very simplistically put. Now, if that is what is the experience of me being my true self, and the entire map is given, Now it is for us to map ourselves a route to reach there. Therefore, tat shravanam, tat kathanam, anyonyam tat prabodhanam, that is called manana. That you are constantly thinking, evaluating, functioning. From that standpoint, to affirm that standpoint, solidifying it again and again and again. Not getting distracted and think that all these happenings are overwhelming. They are the fields of experience, fields of experiment. For me to experiment, to see, like when you are learning a vehicle, so you go on test drive. The field of experience is test drive. कितने पानी में है? How well established am I? Constantly that should be the outlook. Once this outlook changes, one good great benefit out of it, there will be absolutely no boredom. Boredom is that where I have now reached to the sense of done with something. Now I want to change. Not able to decide, not able to find what to change into. That intermediary period is boredom. Constantly at that level of awareful existence, not losing track of where I am and evaluating everything from there. There cannot be any boredom. There cannot be any regret. There will be complete peace. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna says, Ashantasya kutaha sukham. That who has not found peace in life, घर जाते जाते मटर मत खरीद लेना. That is not the peace that is being talked about. That who has not experienced peace, there is no possibility of that individual to bask in this absolute state of blissful silence. Let me put a corollary to that. Can you ever get that experience wherein I am agitated but I am happy? Even the vyavaharik sukha can be experienced only when you are at peace. That is why we say, you are trying to enjoy your show or your food or whatever. चैन से देखने भी नहीं देते, चैन से खाने भी नहीं देते. चैन से मतलब in peace, so that I can cherish, I can relish, I can enjoy. Even the vyavaharik enjoyment can happen only when there is that peace. Constantly being at that awareful state, that is why he took the example of witnesshood. Constantly being at that witnesshood, witnessing everything, evaluating, have I lost this or am I being dragged into it? That becomes the sadhana, that becomes the nididhyasana. While maintaining that balance, now you test which field can disturb this. Like how the children, when they go to the ocean, they go to the edge of the waves ending. As the waves recede, they go step delicately forward. And as the waves come in, they walk back, teasingly, as though, you cannot touch me. The waves of samsara, you functioning in it, saying, nothing of it can touch me. If by mistake there is something that even touches, you wipe it off and function in there with more awareness. Because that where I have to abide myself in that conscious silence. There will be no disappointment, there will never be a scope for or an opportunity for the seeker to ask, how do I know if I have reached? There will be no need for it. I'll stop here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaः, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.